Don't ask me how, but Corus have done it again. Behind me is a 60-inch RX Brolly, and you can get these for under 135 quid. So let's jump into the video and find out a little bit more. So you might remember towards the end of last year, I'd done a video on the Corus RX Brolly system, and I was very impressed with that. It was really good value for money. If I remember correctly, I think it was just under 200 quid for the full Brolly system. But this is very much a stripped back version of what I did that video on previously. And this is the Corus RX 60-inch oval Brolly. And it shares a lot of similar features to that Brolly system. So if you were impressed with that like I was, but if you don't quite have the budget to be going for that full system, or if you don't have a need for a full system and you just want a cheaper day shelter or something you can chuck up quickly overnight, then this is definitely going to be well worth a look, because it is exactly the same size as the previous Brolly system. And I will flash some dimensions up on screen now. But in the previous video, I showed that you could easily have a bed chair. So it's more than big enough if you're wanting to do nights in it, or if you want a bit of comfort during the day and you fancy taking your bed chair with you, it's going to have the room for a bed chair. As you can see now, I've got pretty much everything I need with me for a day session, and there's loads of room. I've even got my camera bag here as well. And yeah, there is ample room if you wanted it just as a day shelter. And it's been really useful today as well, because the wind is still quite cold. It's still early February at the time of filming this. So just to be able to chuck something like this up, which weighs next to nothing, takes no time at all to put up, and then it just takes that chill off it, will mean that you're actually out fishing longer, because it's much more comfortable. But going on to the kind of specs of this, like I said, I've already been through the dimensions, but what do you actually get in the bag? So obviously you get the Brolly itself. The Brolly has got a couple of clips, top and bottom, to actually keep everything nice and neat and wrapped up. And it's actually got a little cap which goes over the main mechanism to stop it getting damaged. It's a neoprene cap, and then that's got a little clip as well. So you end up with a really streamlined Brolly, which obviously goes into the bag nice and easily. The bag itself is nice and oversized, so you don't have any worries. It's not like putting a sleeping bag back in a bag, so that's great. You get your full set of pegs, so they're heavy duty pegs, and here is kind of a mixture of gravel and kind of like a top layer, a softer top layer, but then gravel underneath. It's going in easily, and the pegs are coming back out with no issues at all. You obviously get your storm poles. Now this can be set up in a couple of different arrangements that I'll come on to in a little bit. Your storm poles come with it, and then you get a heavy duty ground sheet as well. So none of this flimsy tent ground sheet, it's a proper ground sheet, and then that all velcros in place. Now I haven't put the ground sheet down today because I don't really use them. I didn't want to make it dirty, but I have got a couple of clips so you can see the ground sheet. But yeah, like I say, there's velcro points all the way around this Brolly, and it just corresponds to the velcro on the ground sheet. So yeah, really, really handy that you've got that option if you want it. A lot of you guys prefer using ground sheets, especially this time of year. It keeps it a little bit warmer. Now coming onto the inside, you've got a similar mechanism to what's on the RX Brolly system, where it's a really flat and kind of tucked away mechanism. Putting it up is just as simple as any other Brolly on the market. Simply a case of the main pole that runs through the middle, putting it up like a normal Brolly, and then you can unscrew that as well. You've then got a little screw which we can go in place, and it's been thought out because you're not going to lose this because it attaches to the actual mechanism. So yeah, little things like that just mean it's that bit better thought out. On the front, you've got two rod retaining straps. So if you are obviously rebaiting and things like that, nice and easy just to Velcro them in place. Hang on. Wait, pause the video. You haven't subscribed yet? You've literally got to go onto our channel and do that. Is it that hard? If you want to be notified, press it again and do all. God. All right, back to the video. And then like I say, this can be set up in a couple of different ways. Now, there are screws for the storm poles in the middle, how I've got it now, but there's also screws for storm poles either side. So if you're wanting a more open front and you don't want the poles in the way, then you can use them either side, and then you've got a little tension bar which will run from one side to the other. And as you can probably see, you've got a little clip here which clips it in place, and you've got Velcro either side to keep that shape that it then offers. Now, I don't know why I've got it set up like this, because to be honest, I could have done it with the sides because it's not overly windy today. There's just a light wind trickling in, but it's going to be a little bit more stable by having the storm poles upright like that. But like I say, if it's not overly windy, then you don't need them there. You can have them at the side, or if it is really, really windy, then I'm sure you can purchase a couple of extra storm poles, so then you can have the sides and the front ones as well, so it's going to make it even more stable. But I don't think, for the intention of this brolly, I don't think you really need 4 storm poles. And the main kind of purpose of this is that it's going to be something nice and lightweight, quick to put up. So by adding in more storm poles, it's just going to prolong that process, make it a little bit heavier. I don't think you really need it. The 2 would be absolutely fine for the majority of conditions that you might come up against when using this brolly. So a little bit about the material itself. It's got an 8,000mm hydrostatic head, so it's definitely kind of in line with a lot of the competition out there, if not slightly above some, because a lot of brollies of this sort of nature only have a 5,000mm hydrostatic head. So you're a bit above them, and then just slightly below what a lot of bivvies have, because a lot of bivvies will have 10,000. But again, for the nature of this, I don't think it's needed, especially with that price point as well. I don't think you can grumble at a couple of thousand millimeters here and there. So yeah, excellent material. All the seams are taped as well, so you're not going to get any leaks from where it's all been stitched together. And then you've actually got a rain guard that runs along the front as well, and that works really well in conjunction with that tension bar when you're using that, because the tension bar runs along the inside and then the rain gutter runs along the outside. So you shouldn't get any kind of pull in at the top here because of the shape that it then gives. So overall, it is a really decent quality brolly for not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. Now, if you want to find out a little bit more about this, then head over to the Corus website, where there's all sorts of bullet pointed information. I might have missed off a couple of bits, so make sure you check it out, and then you can kind of order it there as well. And like I say, 135 quid, it is an absolute steal. I didn't think they'd better their RX brolly system, but something like this, if you're wanting a more stripped back version, you can't really argue at that sort of price. So thanks for watching this video. If you stick around somewhere around me, there's going to be a few videos popping up. I'll make sure I link the RX brolly system as well. So if you are wanting something a bit more in depth, or not in depth, but a bit more suited to all elements, then make sure you check out that video. But if not, like I say, you can't go far wrong with this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.